Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, families, wherever you are joining us from. Welcome to the next in our Tribe Transitions webinar series. Today, we will be talking all things student accounts, and I have some real experts here with me today to talk all things student accounts and answer our questions. I just do want to note up top, this session is being recorded, so we're going to share a lot of really great information today, and if you need to reference it after the fact, it will be on our YouTube channel and on our webinars homepage in the next couple of days. Also, lots of great information to be shared. I know it'll be easy to want to ask questions while our presenters are presenting, but maybe hold those questions until the end this session. Jot them down on a notebook or on your phone and see if our presenters address your question during their presentation, and then we'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. But I do want to give them plenty of time to share, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to my colleagues to present.
Right. Well, thank you guys very much for joining us. It's a lunchtime, so hopefully it's going to be very productive for us. And it's July 4th week, so extra thank you for joining us. So my name is Ivan. I'm Bursar at William and Mary. I've been here for a little over 5 years, and I've been in higher education for over 20 years in the student accounts and Bursar field. So we will go over some of the materials, and please ask questions, and we'll facilitate, and Heather will help us facilitate the answers and questions session, so we're gonna go over a lot of information. So please hold your questions if you have specific questions related to your students to the end, because you might hear answers for those questions during the presentation. With that said, I'm gonna let Kelly introduce herself, and then we're gonna jump into the slides and session itself.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kelly Johnson. I've been with the Bursar's office for 7 years now. Very happy to be with you today, and thank you also for joining us during your lunch period. So thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. So I'm assuming you guys can see our PowerPoint in front of you. So very quick introductory kind of slide to tell you what we do in Bursar office and what we're going to go over during this session. As you're probably familiar, Bursar office, we're responsible for managing student accounts related to charges, payments, refunds, outside scholarships. There's a slight difference between internal scholarship, outside scholarships. We'll go over that as well because we work closely with financial aid. We want to differentiate that part. We manage payment plans. We process third-party payments and contracts. Maybe you are utilizing military benefits, or your company or your school provides some scholarships that we're going to through us as well. We manage 1098. We'll learn a little bit more about that as well. At the end of the year, it's a tax form for students for educational purposes. We also manage eServices, which is going to be kind of wrap up to show how it all connects together and how you can log in, or your student or you as authorized user can log in and see everything on the student account, enroll in payment plan, view payments, make payments, and everything related to student accounts. So you will see on most of our slides, there is a link on top where you can log in and explore our website. But again, if you have questions, we can address them directly. So to start us off, primary purpose Bursar office, we manage financial side of student experience at William and Mary. So any kind of charge that goes on student account is posted and represented on their bill and their portal here at Bursar office. As you can see, it's really tuition and fees, primarily charges for students, but also housing and meal plans, student health insurance, miscellaneous fees, libraries or fines or something like that. So all those charges going to be coming from different sources, from different departments, but they're all going to end up in one place in student account with Bursar office. And you will be able to see them. We're going to, down the line, you will see the timeline, but for the full semester, for the first semester here coming up in fall, they're going to be presented to students and authorized users around July 11th in next week, right? So at that time, they're not going to be final because there's still things trickling in, adding up, but you will be able to see in general tuition and fees and all the housing and meal plans and health insurance charges. On the payment side, right, we're going to charge a student for tuition and fees and miscellaneous charges. And then on the payment side, you can imagine there's a lot of different ways students pay for their tuition and fees and experience here. Very simple. In person, you can come in, or student can come in and make payment with cash check or money orders or cashier's checks with our cashier's office. With electronic payments, e-payments, we call it, through eServices, you can make payments by electronic checks. We call web check, electronic checks, different ways, don't call it, or credit cards. It's all secure. It's all through the portal that you have access to, and you'll be able to make payments there. There is one, you will see, if you make a payment by credit card, there is 2.95% servicing charge. Doesn't come to us. The provider or servicer who accepts credit cards take the fee. So we recommend students and parents, if you able to make payment by web check, you just type in your routing number, account number, and there's no fee for that type of transactions, and money going to be dropped from your checking account. Third-party payments. As I mentioned, if you have military, if you have 529, very popular options, whether it's Virginia 529 or other states 529, we're going to go a little bit more in details about those. If you have any outside scholarships, it all comes to us as well, and we're going to post either payment or memo, which means we just kind of put in placeholder while we receive payment from the third-party payer. But it's going to be recorded on your student record and your student account, and show that we either already received payment or we expect to receive payment from the scholarships. For international students, if any of you guys present on this webinar, we use Flywire to accept payments as well, so that's another options. And another option we provide is payment plans, and we'll go, I think next slide is going to be all about payment plans. Nope, first we're going to talk about insurance. So university requires all undergraduates, full-time students to have health insurance. We don't require you to purchase our insurance that is provided by university. We partner with United Healthcare to underwrite insurance for students here. But as I said, we don't require you to buy it from us. Students just need to have insurance plan, whether it's going to be from you, from parent, under family plan, whether they go into the market and purchase their own coverage, or whether they can come and purchase insurance through university. So anyway, any of those forms are available, but if they don't have insurance, we will require them to purchase from us. So in general terms, students going to have, if they qualify for health insurance, if they qualify for have this requirements, they need to go into portal. They're going to have received communication from health center, from William and Mary, and inform them about, hey, the portal to enroll in insurance is open, or portal to submit waiver is open, and they can go in. And so, as I mentioned, there is two really steps students need to make. If you select to participate in health insurance through William and Mary, you're going to go into portal and you're going to enroll. You're going to find your name, and there's going to be clear instruction from health center. You find your name, you say, yes, I want to opt in and purchase insurance through William and Mary. If you do that part, the charge going to be automatically added to your student record, student account, and you can see the rates right here. For the full semester, it's going to be $15.22, and that runs from August till end of December. And that's it. That's all you need to do. If you have already insurance, whether it's under the family plan or any other way, you can go into the same portal and you're going to just submit waiver. You're going to say, I do not wish to purchase university health insurance. I already have health insurance with another provider. Here's my proof of insurance. We need to see that you have that insurance. And as soon as you submit that part, we don't charge you, and you continue without a university-sponsored health insurance plan. If you don't do one of those two steps, either enroll, opt-in, or waive, we're going to charge student account for insurance. So if you don't do anything and you just forgot, or you did not do anything, we're going to still charge you. And so on the August bill, you will see the insurance charge. And at that time, there is still some open window to submit waiver if you just forgot and didn't get to it, and you can still submit waiver to remove the charge. But if you did not do anything, we will automatically charge you insurance. So please, remember these dates that health insurance is required for undergraduate students, full-time students. So that's kind of, we get a lot of questions from students when they all of a sudden they did not think about it, and all of a sudden they see this $1,500 charge in their student accounts in August, and they confused or unclear why they have it. So hopefully that explains this part. With that said, we're going to go into e-bills. I mentioned to you, we're going to apply charges to student records, student account. Students will be able to see and notified about their charges and payments through e-bills. We call them e-bills, electronic bills. We don't send paper forms, and we send emails with basically a link to the portal stating that, hey, on the 10th of the month, we're going to say, hey, we just issued you a bill, and that bill might have balance. It might have just reflection of the activity that you already made a payment. It's going to show, you had $10 charge and we received $10 payment. So your account's balance is zero, but we're going to very transparently show you what activity happened during that time. So we want to make sure that you and students and parents very clearly, transparently can see into the student account and see what happened, if there's outstanding balance, if there is payments received, or we recommend students and parents pay attention and look into those bills, because that's your kind of very visible way to look into the charges and student account status. One note about bills is a snapshot in time. So on the 10th of the month, we're going to take a snapshot and send it to you. Maybe 2 days later, you receive scholarship or you submitted loan request to financial aid and they will add it to your student account. Well, the bill is not going to show anything that happened after the 10th. You still can go into your portal and see all the activity, all the charges or authorized aid or scholarship being applied, but this bill is a snapshot in time on the 10th, and still gives you a good opportunity to see what's going on in your account, but that's one thing to keep in mind. So if we send bill on July 10th or 11th, for example, for the fall semester, the due date is going to be the first of the following months, right? And that's going to continue throughout the semester. So on every 10th of the month, we're going to send a bill showing activity for that month, and then the due date for that bill is the first of the following months. We mentioned a couple of times about students and authorized users, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, but any parent can become authorized user for their students. And the critical part about this is that we cannot give you authorized user access. Only student can. So you can talk to your student, and we recommend parents talk to them from beginning, saying like, hey, you can set up mom or dad as an authorized user. They will go into the student account, they will select add the email, and they select what authorized user can or cannot view or do in the portal. And you can view, you can make payments, you can access 1090ET, for example. And so student can make those selections, submit email, and then you as authorized user are going to receive separate emails with username and password, and then you will be able to log in and access all the information that student sees. You will be able to see it as well. So that's e-bills. Next, we're gonna talk about the timeline. Very simple table here for semester. The due dates, the bill date, as I mentioned, July 10th through 13th, depending on the time. If it's weekend, maybe it's gonna shift a little bit. So this is first of each bill, right? For the fall semester, July we send bills July 10th, due date August 1st. For spring, December was January 3rd due date, and summer, beginning of May, was June 1st due date. Payment plans. Again, a lot of questions about this payment plan from parents and students. So as you can imagine, you can make payment in one lump sum, right? You can write a check, you can write, go into portal and make e-payment. Probably harder to do on credit card, but if you're really hunting for points, you can do that as well. But some parents and some students cannot do the one chunk, one big payment at a time. So we offer payment plan, which allows you to break down all your charges, your tuition, housing, meal plans, any fees, minus, as you can see, minus expected funding, whether it's loans or authorized aid or scholarship and common scholarship is going to remove that or subtract that. And that remaining balance is going to be divided into 4 installments. So we offer payment plans just for 1 semester at a time. So if you enroll in a full semester, we're going to take all your charges minus all your expected payments. And the remaining balance is going to be divided into 4 installments. As you can see during summer is a little short semester with multiple sessions. So we don't offer during summer, but fall and spring semester are main kind of semesters for enrollment and payment plans. And you can see payment plans in open when you receive first bill for the semester. For the fall semester, for example, is going to be July 11th, 10th or 11th. The payment plan is going to open the same time. So you can go in portal in eServices and enroll in payment plan right away. The enrollment closes at the end of ed drop. So sometimes at the beginning of September when ed drop finishes, we expect students to take care of their finances by that point. They know their enrollment, they know their charges, and they're gonna, if they wanted to enroll, we give them plenty of time window to enroll in payment plan at that point. Couple things. So it's interest-free. It's not a loan, it's interest-free. There is no penalty or kind of interest that accrues during this payment plan, but there is a $50 enrollment fee. There is also late fee for late payments for each month. So please make installments payments on time. There's 2 different ways to make payments in payment plan. You can do auto pay or scheduled payments where you can just put in your routing number, account number, or credit card, and each month is going to draft or charge your credit card that amount that you indicated. Or you can come in and every month remember to come in first and make a payments. I think there's last slide about payment plans. The very good feature of payment plans is adjusting and flexible, right? So if you have some kind of additional charge, if your student, for example, enroll in class late and there is lab fee, the payment plan going to take that new charge and it's going to divide that additional charge into each installment, remaining installment. So if you still have 3 installments and you added lab fee or you change your housing and maybe it's more expensive or less expensive housing option, the payment plan going to adjust everything. It's going to divide it up and create updated plan and reduce each installment by that prorated amount. Direct payments directly from 5 to 9 plans would need to be scheduled manually. It's a little tricky part, but if you have questions about 5 to 9, if you're utilizing the benefit and you want to use payment plan, please contact us and we'll walk you through it as well. With that, I'm going to pass this to Kelly, and she will talk a little bit about third-party payments.
Thank you, Ivan. Hello, everyone. The third-party payments, we're going to start with the outside scholarships. So that would be any aid coming in from the outside. These might be your high school scholarships that you were awarded or any other third-party scholarship from outside the university. It is important to know that all aid, if you're applying for FAFSA, if you're applying for federal financial aid, that you report all outside scholarships. So this is just a general information slide for you just to go through. There is a link at the bottom of the page. There is a reporting form for you to list all of that outside aid coming in for your student there. Not only is the form there, but the secure portal to financial aid is also there, so you can complete the form and then submit your outside scholarship and resource reporting form there directly. If you can go to the next slide. If you can just follow a couple of basic steps, we've already gone over this first one, which is supplying that information to financial aid. The second one is any of those payments, if the checks were sent to you and they're in the university's name, Please send those payments to us. You can also send award letters directly to the Bursar's office. They can be emailed to us at bursar@wm.edu, or you can put them in the mail. We will share our mailing addresses at the end of the slide presentation. We can provide credit memos. A credit memo would be a pending credit against your balance for outside scholarships, but they cannot contain stipulations. A few examples would be if the outside scholarship is grade dependent, or if the payment would be not received until a future semester. Those would be some types of stipulations that we can't accept. So if you have questions about that, feel free to email us your award and we can review that and get back to you. Unless otherwise stated, scholarships are always split between the fall and spring semesters. Normally, if it's a semester-specific scholarship, it's already marked on the scholarship check when we receive it from your donor, so we already have that information. But as a general rule, academic scholarships are split between the semesters, and that would just be fall and spring, not fall, spring, and summer. If the scholarship is a tuition-only award, it can conflict with other tuition-only aid. Just keep that in mind. I will say that most outside scholarships are not tuition restrictive. Most of them are not, which means that they can cover other charges. They can cover, other costs that you incur here at the university. So they can go towards other things besides just tuition. If you have any questions about internal William & Mary scholarships, we would direct your questions towards financial aid. You can reach them at finaid@wmi.edu. And we will have that information for you further in the slideshow as well. Next slide, Ivan. If you are using your military benefits here at the university for the first time, the process starts with the VA benefits information sheet. The link is right there. If you complete this sheet, it basically is asking you for everything that we need to know. That goes straight to our VA certifier. She will then reach out to you. If you have any questions, using military benefits page on our university website has a plethora of information. It's a very step-by-step page, and it covers 99% of all topics. So it's a great resource. If you can visit that page, I would highly recommend it. Our VA certifier's email address is at the top of that page as well. Sorry about that, Ivan. If you are using 529 benefits, we have two groups, basically. You have your Virginia 529s, which are divided into two different categories, and then you have your out-of-state plans. If you are using a Virginia plan, let's cover that first. Basically 3 steps. You're going to notify your plan. We're going to receive the roster based on you notifying your plan with your student's name on that. And then the benefit will be posted to your student's account. If you do that in a timely fashion, you will see that benefit already posted on your student's account when you receive that first e-bill. So currently, we have already received a roster from Virginia Prepaid, and this is prepaid. I'm sorry, I should back up a little bit. This is the Virginia Prepaid plan. We have already received the roster for the fall, and then we receive a roster every week with additional students that have been added since that roster was set to us. So don't be concerned if you don't see it on that first e-bill. Log into the eServices account. You'll see that benefit posted as soon as we receive it. We enter those students in off of that roster the same day we receive that new roster communication. Virginia Prepaid does cover in-state undergraduate tuition and fees. It does not cover housing, meal plans, or other charges. If you're using VA 529 Invest, it's a little bit more flexible. It can cover housing, it can cover meal plans. The process starts with notifying your plan. You would request a disbursement made to William & Mary. You can use your first e-bill for that documentation, and payments are transferred directly to us by ACH. It takes about 1 to 3 days for us to receive that. building in any holidays or weekends. It could be a day more, but that's generally the conciseness of how long it takes us to receive those payments. They're very timely. Contact your plan for payment timing if you're concerned or if we're closed. If you're using an out-of-state 529 plan, same process with a little wiggle room. So notify your plan, request a disbursement. Again, you can use your e-bill for your first documentation. Payments are received by check or by Flywire, and I'll explain that. So nationwide, Flywire has partnered with a lot of 529 out-of-state plans. Not all of them are participating with Flywire. Most of your larger ones are. So that's a way to get that payment to us quicker. So what I would recommend is you reaching out to your plan and asking them if they participate with Flywire or not. If they do not, you will need to manually request a check be sent to the university. Again, we'll go over those payment addresses at the end of the slideshow. If the payment is delayed after the e-bill statement due date, you may need to pay your balance and have your student request a refund. Once the funds are received, you could also consider the payment plan. It's a great option for a situation like that. You could reduce the initial payment until you wait for that out-of-state 529 plan to be received. Next slide, Evan. Refunds. We have our link there at the top of the page. Please, please, please encourage your students to sign up for direct deposit. It's the most secure, fast, and convenient way for them to receive their refunds. You don't have to worry about a check getting lost in the mail. We have online set up via eServices, and then just choose electronic refunds. Very simple process. eServices is a great platform, very, very user-friendly. On the first day of classes, all Title IV or federal financial aid credit balances will be automatically refunded to your students. Any other refunds that happen after that throughout the semester, maybe a credit balance was formed by a third-party payment or any other situation, you would need to go in and complete our refund request form. That is located on our student account page. That comes directly to us. Only the student can complete a online refund request form, and we process those 2 to 3 times a week. Again, if your students signed up for direct deposit, that will be a very timely refund. Ivan, if you can go to the next slide.
I'll take this one.
Sure.
So, we talked about some positive services we provide. Unfortunately, we also have some negative ones that probably parents or students are not thrilled about, right? And so holds and late fees is a part of kind of our operation, that if students are late with payments, we will assess late fees. And so students need to be prepared. It's a little real life, while learning academic stuff, they're also going to learn some real life financial kind of decisions. And so if students did not pay their balances, we will assess late fee. It's $100. It's up to $100. 10% of the balance up to $100. If you're on payment plan, as we mentioned earlier, it's $25 per late installment. So you would get the same $100 late fee there as well. We also have holds on student accounts. So if student enrolling classes did not pay in full or partial, there is still balance over $100, we'll apply hold on the account that will prevent them from registration in next semester. And so a lot of students come back, not a lot, but some students come back to us to enroll in classes and they cannot because they have hold. We ask them to complete their payment, satisfy the balance, resolve the issue, and the hold is lifted every 20 minutes. So there is no delay there and students can enroll in classes. So please, pay attention to your e-bills, pay attention to your balances. And as Kelly said, if you're utilizing third parties and there is a delay in delivery of payment of the third party, that might affect holds or late fees. And so that's where Kelly mentioned that, you might want to enroll in payment plan or make a payment by yourself while you're waiting for that disbursement or the third party payment. as soon as third-party payment come in, you can request a refund from your original payment, and we're going to send money back to you right away. So there is no delay there, but this way you prevent the headaches with late fees or holds. 1090-T form I mentioned earlier. So this is one of the tax forms that university provides for students. It is going to be available for students to access after January 31st. The deadline by IRS stated January 31st. We do not send paper copies most of the time. It is uploaded as a PDF into the eService portal, and you can log in here as a student or authorized user and access the 1090-T if a student gives you permission to view it. And that form, we, as a university, we're not allowed to give tax advice or any kind of recommendations. The form is available on IRS to look up and see how to file it. Your tax advisor or professional can help you with it as well. But that form provides information on all the charges the student was charged during a calendar year from January to December. It also provides information on scholarships, provides information on full-time or part-time status. So all the information that IRS requires in order for you to submit in your taxes for educational benefits. We also send this information to IRS directly, so they have this information as well. Verifying authorization. So Kelly, I'll let you talk about passphrase and authorized users.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ivan. So passphrase, let's talk about passphrase first. When you are calling or emailing the university, we have to have a passphrase to be able to verify your identity. We can't see you, we can't see your license, we can't see your student ID. So we've developed a passphrase. It's based on FERPA regulations, Privacy Act. It's required to communicate with our office in any manner. It is requested by the student. So if you do not have a passphrase, please ask your student to log into their Banner account and provide that for you. They will key in your email address and it will email you credentials, it will email you. I'm thinking of the authorized user. It will email you your passphrase or your secret word. You want to keep that word for the time that your student is with us. It does not change. It doesn't update with each semester. You can change it. If you don't like the word, you can have it's automated. So if you don't like it, you can have your student reissue that to you. We do need to have that, the passphrase and the student's ID when you call us or email us. The authorized user, this is for credentials to be able to sign into eServices and to be able to view the account, the financial account of your student. Your student does have to, again, prompt that. This is according to FERPA laws and privacy laws. They would send you a authorized user account credential login to your email, and you will use that to log in for the rest of their time here. You'll be able to log into eServices. You can view statements. You can view 1098-Ts. You can make payments. You can view even the historical statements all the way back. If you have any issues with the authorized user accounts, we would first recommend you reach out to your student, but you can also contact us at Student Accounts, and we can walk your student through that process of how to get your authorized user account established if they run into difficulty.
Yep, perfect. Thank you, Kelly. And I think that's often parents or students confused between those two, and they can call us and say like, well, I'm authorized user already. And we need to explain that authorized user is really for your eServices portal for your account to log in and view and make payments and do all the activities. The passphrase is really university-wide. If authorized user really belong to Bursar office for the portal where you log in and view everything, passphrase is university-wide. So if you call Dean of Students or if you call any other financial aid office, they will ask you the same passphrase. So you want to remember the word passphrase that you've been given by the system and use that on any occasions you can call and communicate with university. eServices. We mentioned throughout this presentation, we made reference on portal, eServices. So a lot of our activity, a lot of student activity from financial standpoint, all kind of summary ends up in eServices, right? That's a portal where you can see and interact with financial side of student experience here. And so while you log in, whether it's student logs in and view it, or parent as authorized user logs in and view it, you can see, as you see, balance and expected aid. You can see your statements. You can see detailed per semester charges breakdown. You can see line by line item, what you've been charged, tuition fees, any kind of lab fees. You can also see payments the same way. You made payment by credit card, ACH, everything is present there. You can make payments. You can sign up for direct deposits. You can sign up for refunds there, and also access 1090. So it is very connecting all the dots, pulling all together, everything in one place. And we have even example of how this eServices portal looks. So you can see here on the left side, there is announcement, and we update them, as you can see, from 2022. But we update them for each semester with important dates, important key information that you need to know, student need to know. Central part is, the snapshot of information, what the balance is, what estimated financial aid is. In this case, student has $30,000 balance. It's combined with housing, meal plans, tuition fees. Estimated financial aid, $4,144. That's the aid that has not been applied yet, but is waiting to be dispersed to student accounts. And then you can see balance at the end, including estimated aid as well. So it's all tying all together, financial aid information, Bursar information. You can see it's circled in the middle, enroll in payment plan. That's where a student can go and enroll in payment plan if you desire. You can view detail activity to the left of that. You can also see below statement history, and it's either going to be e-bills or 1090 AT. And on the right, there is short links for, sign up, set up authorized user, personal profile, e-refunds, consent agreements, so everything in one place where a student can interact with their accounts. And on the top in the ribbon, there is another links for similar things, make a payments, payment plan, deposit, refunds, and if you need help. So that's example of eServices, very user-friendly, a lot of information. So we encourage students to sign in and view and play around a little bit, make sure they get familiar with it and see how it works. And the last slide, this is our contact information. You can see we separated mail-in address for any correspondence you send to us, and also for express and carrier services. We have plenty of parents who last minute saying, we have a check, we're gonna FedEx you, and that's the address you need to use for it. Email, direct phone line, so please contact us, and whether by email or phone number, and we have student accounts representatives who can help you with your accounts. So with that said, 12:42, we have about 18 minutes for questions and answers. So I believe Heather gonna help us with facilitating that, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Lots of really great information, but lots of information. So I'm sure we have a few questions. I know we have some open. So if you have been patiently waiting to ask your question, now is a good time. I'm going to start kind of at the top, and it may go a little bit chronological. Someone asked, 2 weeks is a quick turnaround payment for a 529 plan. Are there any allowances if proof of request has been made? What does the time frame look like if maybe the request has been made of the 529 plan, but it doesn't reach William and Mary in time?
Sure, I can take that question, Ivan. So if it can't make it here on time, I would say if you can reach out to your provider and have them take a snapshot of the confirmation page where the disbursement's been made, the date, and the amount. You can send that to us in an email. We can use that to kind of give you a pending credit, or at least not allow the holds to apply until that check gets here. But we do need some type of proof that the check has been, requested and it's on its way. I hope that answers your question. Great question.
And to tie that together with other third parties as well, You're right. Some third parties, including 529, can take some time, right?
Mhm.
And we see a lot of with scholarship. So if scholarship gave you a word letter, right, saying that, all right, Kelly gonna get $2,000 from the school or this organization, you can send that letter to us. While and some organization ask us to bill them as well, so you can send it to us. We can take that letter, we review it, make sure there's no stipulation, as Kelly was explaining, and we can place memo, we call it memo, but it's like placeholder on your account where it says, okay, we're expecting $2,000 from this organization, but it might gonna take 2 or 3 weeks for us to receive it. Maybe we need to invoice them and they're gonna send it back to us because they need to verification of enrollment and all those things. So if organizations send you check directly, great, send it to us. We're gonna apply it right away to student account. If they send you a letter, a word letter, we can take that letter, create a placeholder on your account, memo, and then when we receive the actual payment, we're going to remove memo and apply payment directly there. So hopefully that's explains and ties a little bit better with the timeline. Because you're right, sometimes the timeline can be a little tight and you don't want to get late fees or hold on your account. But that was a good question. Thank you.
So, based on your experience last year and the last couple of years, when typically do new students see meal plans appear on statements?
I can answer that question. So our goal is to have all bills on student records before first e-bill issued. So the e-bill is going to be issued July 11th, just in a week. So right now we're working with both dining services and house and office to make sure all the charges on student accounts be added before the date. Sometimes things don't work out as we expect or as you hope. And if student maybe made late adjustment or they decided to be in housing or trying to still decide what housing to choose, there can be delays. But normally uh, our goal is to have it for the first bill. If you don't have it for the first bill, it's certainly going to be on a second bill in August 10th. But you can always come in and take a look at student account and see whether the charge was added or not in the meantime.
A great question. Um, okay. My 529 plan said they need a college code in order to send payments. Does William and Mary have a college code?
So we do. So it really just should populate in the list. So it depends if you're a Virginia or out of state. If we can get their email address, I can get that to them. Yes. We
Can any
normally don't
over
have that problem with that. Usually those codes come, they're a populated list of all the universities across the nation. So
Mhm.
usually we don't get that question very often. I haven't had it in a couple of years, but we have it. I can get it to them. Yes.
Can any overpayments be applied to future balances, or how are overpayments handled?
Good question. There's a lot of regulations on financial institutions right now and oversight, especially after the COVID and after banking crisis. So we are not financial institutions. So we are not allowed to take money ahead and hold for 1 or 2 years ahead of time, right? So we will refund. So to answer your question, if there is overpayment, we expect students to request refund. If there's no refund by the end of the semester, we're going to review all credits on student accounts and we're going to reach out to students saying like, hey, we see there is a credit of X dollars on your account and we would like to refund it to you, or we need to, if we're refunding it, if depending on the credit. So if credit is from third party, for example, we're not going to refund it to students unless it's clearly stated that credits or any extra amount can be sent to students. So we have to do that due diligence and see where the credit coming from and where it's supposed to be refunded if need to be refunded. But if there is an overpayment or student was in class and then dropped course and they already paid by that point and there is a credit from that transaction and drop, we have the credit and we're going to reach out to students saying, do you want a refund? In some cases, we might hold it for next semester, but we prefer not to have the perception that we are bank and we're holding your money for one or another reasons, but we expect to refund students, especially with Title IV and loans and federal aid. There is very clear regulations. We cannot hold the money for next semester. So if you have money from loans, for example, we have to refund within 14 days. So there's no question that we can hold it for next semester. We're going to refund it to you by direct deposit if you have it. And if not, we're going to send the check to the college address.
Yep. And setting up that refund information is a task on the Tribe Guide checklist. And that's one of the reasons it is a task on the Tribe Guide checklist. So in the event that that happens, that is already done and dusted and taken care of over the summer. So another question about setting up payment plans is the $50 enrollment fee for like the semester as a whole, or is that like $50 for tuition, $50 for a meal plan, or does that cover the entire payment plan process?
Sure, I can answer that. The $50 is per semester, so $50 per semester plan. We do have a fall and a spring semester plan, so that would be $50 each semester.
Kelly wanted to give a good news, right? The less, the better. We want to make sure that, yeah, thank you, Kelly. We want to make sure that students and parents clear that it's per semester enrollment, not just fee, but the enrollment. So sometimes students enroll in fall semester and they expect or think that their plan gonna roll over into the spring and they're gonna have the same plan. So, and then they surprised when we send them bill for full amount on the first bill. So we reminding students and parents that you need to, if you want to utilize payment plan, you need to enroll in payment plan each semester. Yep.
Question here about what about a grandparent sending a check to William and Mary? Should we have them put William and Mary on the check and send it directly to your office, or how should those maybe instances where another family is chipping in, how should that be handled?
Absolutely. Yes, just have them send it to us direct mail at the PO Box 8795 address. Just have the student's ID number and their name on the check so we can match it with their account and we will apply that. Any updates to the eServices account you can view in account activity. So you would be able to see when we receive that check. It would be posted same day.
And again, in this situation, maybe you want to set up your grandparents as an authorized user so they can go into portal and make payment online, which is safer, faster, and a lot more convenient. And you will see when you make payment online through eServices, the student account is going to be updated instantly. So you will see a charge paid by this payment right away instead of waiting for 7 to 10 days by snail mail to receive check and then us to process it. So, and then us deposit. So the check might not be clear for 10, 15 days. So we encourage people to utilize eServices. It's free. There is no fee there and it's more convenient. But yes, grandparents and aunties, they can make payment. You will often, like in Kelly just mentioned, a student ID number. When you call us or you send any correspondence or you send a check or grandparents send check, it's very convenient if you put that number in a memo line. It's always starts with 93. So you will actually hear sometimes, what's your 93 number, right? Because that's how it starts. And you want to memorize that number because anyone you call, anything you do with university on the student level, you want to have that number because that's the easy way for us to locate, make sure that we are looking at the right account.
Kind of along the same lines, someone has asked a question, is there a difference or a preference in having my 529 plan send a payment directly to William and Mary versus them sending me a check and then me making a payment to William and Mary? This person's wondering about tax planning and reporting purposes, but I'm wondering too if there's any impact on that safety and convenience that you just mentioned of, the process of mailing a check and how long that can take.
Yes, I will comment on that. I would have them reach out to their tax professional on that. There may be some tax implications involved in paying it that way. I will say that we do receive a lot of 529 checks here at the university. So always check with your tax preparer and have that discussion with them ahead of time.
Wonderful.
Anytime you
Great
ask
advice.
this kind of question, we most likely going to say, we're sorry, we cannot provide tax advice.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many different circumstances connected to each individual family, and so we cannot explain. Yes, there are tax implications if check goes to you or to us, and so for that purpose, you need to talk to advisor. Mm-hmm.
Great advice. Okay. If outside scholarships are mailed to the university but do not arrive before the e-billing statement on July 11th, how is that applied?
We will apply it to the student's account. You can view that in eServices again under the account activity. Again, going back to what Ivan said, it's a snapshot in time, that e-bill. So this would be coming in after the e-bill. So you would have to log into eServices to see that we received that. If the balance has already been paid off, it would provide more of a reimbursement at that point. So if the student signed up for a direct deposit, we could go ahead and refund that to the student. This would be one of those instances where they would need to complete that refund request form.
Student schedule or course enrollment change their tuition and fees, and our third-party payer requires the student schedule before making a payment.
Could you repeat that, Heather? I'm sorry.
Yep. Does the student schedule or course enrollment change their tuition and fees? Because our third-party payer requires the student schedule before making a payment.
If they're undergraduates, their tuition is all inclusive. So the only difference would be out of state versus in-state tuition rate. So it would not change based on their course enrollment. Some graduate courses are a flat fee, some are not. So it would depend. I would need to know more information. And then the second part of that question, Heather, I'm so sorry.
It was more of a statement that their third-party payer won't pay until the student has a course schedule, which we know that students won't have their full course schedule until the Tuesday or Monday before classes begin. So I'm guessing that's more of a question of like, how will we see that, or how will that third-party payer issue payment, which will happen after statements have occurred? That's kind of how I'm putting the pieces together on that one.
Right. We welcome them to send us the information. It may be something that we can review and discuss with them. It may also be a great opportunity for them to sign up for the payment plan while that situation gets worked out with their payment provider. That is what I would recommend. They can always email us any document for review to, our student accounts website.
Yes, as we mentioned earlier, if there's a award letter clearly indicating what they're gonna get from the third party, send it to us. We'll take a look at that as well.
Wonderful. Okay. I know we still have a few questions open, but they're a little specific. So I would recommend, if questions are still open, that you reach out to bursar@wm.edu with some of those more specific intricacies. You can also always send an email to families@wm.edu, and we're happy to direct or answer if we're able to. But that's really all that we have time for today. So I just want to say thank you to Ivan and Kelly for that wonderful, informative presentation and for answering our questions about student accounts. This session has been recorded and will be available in just a couple days on our YouTube channel, and it will be sent to you via email as well, so be on the lookout for that. Like Ivan mentioned up top, it is the 4th of July week, so offices will be closed on Thursday and Friday of this week, but we will get back to you on Monday when most of us return. So hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your week. Have a great day, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.